everybody. Welcome back to another Daily Drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today, Carolina basketball. We're going to take a snippet of the schedule for the coming season and kind of isolate it. Going to look at 6 telltale non-conference games. Going to have a little fun with it. We can do this when we get closer to the season as well, but we'll do it now because with the schedule slowly piecing together, it's always an interesting and fun topic. In fact, some of the conversations I've seen out there in various forums, non-conference opponent dialogue is among the most interesting and plentiful as well. So let's take a look at 6 non-conference basketball games the Tar Heels have this coming season that are going to tell us a lot about who they are. A lot. These are telltale games. The first one is the second game of the year at Kansas, November 8th, at Kansas. It's a Friday night. UConn, by the way, played at Kansas around the same time this past season and lost, but looked good. But still lost that game. UConn ended up cutting down the nets. Not trying to draw a correlation there, but just letting you know, UConn went there real early on a Friday night and lost. Carolina heads there real early on a Friday night and lost. First time the Tar Heels will have ever stepped foot in Fog Allen Fieldhouse, where I've been. I have not covered a game there, but I actually got into the building with the great Brett Friedlander the day after Carolina lost to Auburn in the Sweet 16 in Kansas City in 2019. We took a drive over to Lawrence. We're amazed at how horrible the football stadium is and got goosebumps walking into Fog Allen Fieldhouse because it's an amazing, amazing place. The Tar Heels will learn a lot about themselves. And right out of the gate, the topic of the offseason in conjunction with the transfer portal is Carolina didn't get the big man that everybody, or at least most Carolina fans, desperately wanted. So that front line is going to get tested. Hunter Dickinson is back for his 77th season of college basketball, and he's a Kansas Jayhawk for the second year, and he will challenge Carolina's front court. He has not played that well against Carolina in the past. Armando used his body to really affect Hunter Dickinson. So how will the Heels deal with him? And look, it's a game no one's going to expect you to win because nobody's favored going into Allen Fieldhouse. However, it'll be a very telling game about where the Heels are at that moment in time. And it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I cannot wait to be there. It's going to be one of the great atmospheres that Carolina could possibly play in outside of going to Duke, to be perfectly honest with you. About a month later in the ACC-SEC Challenge, Alabama visits Chapel Hill. Again, another game with a big front line that will challenge the Tar Heels. Of course, Alabama is the team that beat Carolina in the Sweet 16 this past year. The Crimson Tide then beat Clemson, got to the Final Four. There's a lot of talent on this team. They're going to be, I've seen them ranked number 1 in some preseason polls. There's a lot of them out there. I think Kansas has been number 1 in some. And so has Alabama. So it's going to be a hell of a test. It's going to be a great atmosphere in the Dean Dome. And it's a chance for the Heels to get a signature win pretty early in the season and get a gauge of where they are, not just with the bigs, but also defensively, because it's Alabama's so hard to guard. They're so unique. And Carolina's offensive guards and wings will be tested that day as well, that night as well. December 17th, the Tar Heels will be in Charlotte, Jordan Brand Classic, or Jordan Brand Invitational, whatever they call it. The Jordan Brand game against Florida. Played Michigan 2 years ago, Hunter Dickinson game. Played Oklahoma this past year, a team that was playing real well up until that point and then struggled afterward. And now they have Florida. And guess what? Another team with lots of big guys. Florida's long. May have been the longest team in the country this past year. The Gators might not be as big, but they got a couple really good big men in the 6'11", 7-foot range. So once again, how equipped are the Tar Heels to deal with that kind of front line? That will be our third such game where we can gauge that. That's etched into the schedule. Another game that I think will be telling is against UCLA, likely in Madison Square Garden, December 21st, is as part of the CBS Sports Classic. Bruins struggled last year, but they're still UCLA. It's a neutral site game, and it's New York City, Madison Square Garden. Hubert wants to play a game there every year. So if you want to become synonymous with winning a game in Madison Square Garden and all the residual effect of that from the press that you get, from being up there around a lot of kids that they recruit, being able to say, hey, man, we're going to play an MSG every year, and by the way, we win. We just beat UCLA there, all that kind of good stuff. That's a big game, and it's UCLA. That's two fabled programs on this list, by the way, Kansas and UCLA. And the other two, those are 4 games. The other 2 are going to come in the Maui Invitational, where UConn is participating as well. So they have not released the brackets by the time that this was recorded. It should come out pretty soon. So then we'll know at least what Carolina's, who they're bracketed with. But right now we don't know. So the other 7 schools are Connecticut, Iowa State, Dayton, Memphis, Michigan State, Auburn, and Colorado. That is a hellacious lineup. If you think about it, can you imagine, well, you're going to take on Thad Boyle in Colorado in the first round. I mean, good grief. They were an NCAA tournament team last year. It's a solid program now. And then if you win that, you're going to take on Tom Izzo in Michigan State. You're going to take on Iowa State, which has been a really good team the last few years. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to meet UConn in the championship. Whoever they play, even if they play the 3 other worst teams in that field or the ones with the lowest profile. Oh, by the way, Auburn's in there. Let's say they play Dayton and Memphis and Colorado. It's possible those are 3 NCAA tournament teams. This is a great field, and the Tar Heels will learn a lot from it. And I suspect 2 of the opponents are going to be big-time opponents that with high seeds in the NCAA tournament. So these 6 games give us a chance to really get a feel for the Tar Heels and find out what they're all about. What are they all about? But going into ACC play, what kind of things does Hubert still need to tweak? What does he need to iron out? How deep is the bench? Can those freshmen play? Can Ian Jackson handle 15 minutes at Allen Fieldhouse? Can Ian Jackson handle the physicality of Michigan State's defense and the next day dealing with UConn? How about Drake Powell? How about Jalen Washington? Jalen Withers? Zayden High? Van Allen Lubin? Some big teams here. We'll know going into January. These 6 games, and really 7, quite frankly, because the opener in Maui is going to be a tough game. It's a heck of a schedule. So we're going to learn everything we need to know about the Tar Heels by the time conference play starts. And that's why schedules like this are good. We're going to drop a few of these games, 2 or 3 maybe, but they're going to go into January knowing as much about themselves as you possibly can in college basketball. And that's why these games are so valuable. And you know what? If you split, probably 3 quad 1 wins. That's good. It's big time. If you're excited about these games and the meat of Carolina's non-conference schedule and how that will shape the Tar Heels moving forward, click like on this video. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please make sure you do. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload, which is often, even here in the middle of the summer. We do not take our foot off the pedal, ever. We'll have another video coming tomorrow because that's the way we roll. And we do it because we love it and because there's such a passionate appetite for all things Carolina football, basketball, and recruiting, which is our focus at THI. And you could be an expert if you head on over to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Just $8.33 a month for a 1-year subscription. And there's so much more you'll find there than you ever will on any of these podcasts or our free articles. I really thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you guys checking us out just about every day here in the off season. There's so much else to do. A lot of people need to unplug and get away from it. So many of you don't. You pay us a visit every day. We have one of these videos, and we are very, very grateful. Thank you.